Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope it's all going well for you. A pleasure to moderate this press conference because it's actually an amazing, a great story, which is why I'm not going to try and tell it because it's not my story. Obviously, it's Guor's. Rather, I think, than asking Guor to give his whole life story, I think better to take questions and answers. So let's start with the gentleman down here on the left.
Guor, this question is for you. What was it that inspired you or pushed you to keep fighting in order to get here?
Can you tell us, please, when you actually arrived in America?
Guor, hello, Lee Wellings of Al Jazeera. When did you last see your family and will they have the chance to watch you compete?
When you were in the refugee camp, were you able to follow the Olympics at all?
Have you got any plans to go back to South Sudan in the near future?
I wonder if you could tell us how your relationship with running has changed since your childhood and now that you're here in the Olympics, running as a marathon runner.
And was there ever a time where running was a way of you to focus on something else and escape from the past?
It's the final day of the London Olympics, and it begins with the men's marathon through the streets of central London. 105 men representing 67 countries about to take their 26.2-mile journey. So the runners set on their way, in addition to the 67 nations represented by the 105 men. There is one runner running under the International Olympic Committee flag, Guor. He's from South Sudan, a refugee. He's had an unbelievable story.
South Sudan as a region has been at war for over 50 years. It centers around the consequences of colonialism and the abrupt exit of the British in the 1950s following World War II. And this was really what started South Sudan off on the path to conflict. The fact that we had two countries with very different notions of what it was to be themselves.
Run, left, quick, five. Left, right, left, right.
Southern Sudanese, very African and very traditional. And the Northern Sudanese, an Arab-centric culture. An Islamic culture. There was a clash of civilizations, so to speak. Ethnic conflict and animosity, political manipulation, and a scramble for resources.
What do you remember about your village?
That's a good question. It's a beautiful land. People care to each other. But unfortunately, I was born into the war life. As a child, it's all about war, war, war. They abduct the children and they burn down the house. You see, you have to run to the bushes in order to hide. That's the only way you can save your life. We spent 3 weeks in a forest because of that. You see that? By the time we come back, it was a disaster. You could see someone on the street in ashes. Everything was chaos, and you just don't know what's going on and when this is going to end. After that chaos, all of that, I think my parents had to come to the decision. Do we want to let a child die in front of us, or do we want to send it somewhere? They didn't want me to go too, but they had to make a choice. Yeah. I had to walk to a town called Bantu for a couple of days, and then we got there. And that was it. There's no one there who can take care of me. So we just have to survive. The way I would be able to survive is to go out there, collect nuts, collect mangoes, and all of that stuff, and come and sell it in the city. That was the only way. One weekend, we went out with a group of boys to go and collect mangoes along the river now. We ran into a group of Mashari. It was crazy because I knew that what the people came and attacked the village. And we knew these are our enemy. With your gun, pointing the gun on our face, said, you're either gonna get on a camel or you die. We were being controlled to not talk. They were monitoring us. They wanted us to draw the cattle. I was there for 1 week. They were going to leave next week. That's when we were going to be taken way to Western Sudan. Somehow, I ran into the kid who I know. We grew up together back in the village. I said, okay, look, we are not going to make it back. We're not going to see our parents again. And I said, we have to escape. How? There's high security. You cannot go anywhere. And I said, let us meet here tomorrow morning before the sun comes up. We met there, and we went to hide in a little cave. Once the sun comes up, we'll be able to know the direction. And we ran. We left at night, July 19, 2001. They took us to the airport. This big airport, first time to enter into an airport, first time to get on a plane. 4 a.m., we depart from the gate. We took off. And we arrived to New Hampshire, and we came in the summertime when the tree is beautiful. The smell was completely different and all these things, you know, it's just, wow, this is good.
I leave all my stuff, I leave my house, I leave everything. But I feel good because it's America.
Yeah, as soon as I landed, I'm like, this is the last stop, I hope. I don't have to be, running again.
It was a new life. We start a new life. And then later school started. We go to high school. And that was a big shock. I was kind of like, okay, will I make friends? How am I going to make friends? I don't know English.
I remember when I first met Guor, he immediately had this really warm presence. He was already someone, sort of immediately a personality that everybody kind of went to, who created a sense, I think a really deep sense of humility.
It was kind of mid-quarter, if you will, and met this guy for the first time, didn't know anything about him, had a hard time communicating with him. The language barrier was challenging at the time. The class that I was teaching was kind of like a fitness training class, and that's where, you know, I kind of saw this kid that was tireless going through, whether it was biking, rowing, or anything, just had so much energy. And then when I saw him finally run, that's when, you know, I saw something, you know, really special. I just asked him if he ever ran before, and he said no, and he didn't know what track was, didn't know you could run, it was a sport.
That's when you said, you know, I think you didn't know running, you can be a good runner. No, I don't. I said, okay. I said, then in myself, I told him that I cannot run because I'm working full-time and I'm going to school at full-time, so having another job, it would be suicide.
Eric called me up at home here, and he said, listen, he goes, I think I have a prospect for you. I'm like, come on, Eric. I said, I'm 2 weeks into the season here. This guy better be good.
So Mr. Brown came and told me next class, he said, Guor, you can go to the track. Coach want to meet with you at the track. And I was going, what is a track? He said, back then I saw truck and track were the same. I was going, what is a truck?
And I was a pretty accomplished runner back then, and I'm waiting for Guor, and kid shows up, and he's got basketball outfit on with basketball shoes. And I'm saying, can I help you with something?
I said, I am Guor. And he said, okay, are you ready to run? I said, yes. To run where? He said, you're going to do 2 miles in this kind of track here.
And I'm running with this guy, and I'm like, he's in basketball shoes. I was having a hard time keeping up with him. We got about 6 laps out of 8 into it. And I said, Guor, there's 2 laps to go. I said, you can do whatever you want. You can stop now if you want. I said, or you can take off.
Took off.
I had everything I could do just to try to stay. I couldn't stay with him. And he finished. The kids were laughing. It was like, oh my goodness. He beat me by about 100 yards. And so at the end, I said, can you start tomorrow?
3 days later, we had a race at St. Paul Invitational, and they made me anchor in the 800. I didn't know what is the 800, how many laps.
When you finally figured out the distance in like 10, 15 seconds ahead of everybody else, we're like, wow, all right, we misjudged this. He's gonna be something to be feared. And I remember going home and telling my mom about him. I was like, this kid's gonna be good. Like, we're gonna have a team this year.
I don't see Guor. Me neither. They got him boxed in. There he is, right up front. There he is.
He took off and was a star on a state level pretty immediately.
And then after that, it was just like championships, wins. So kind of just took off from there.
These guys are freezing cold. They run in their little skivvy shorts and shirts, and they still run great. It's awesome. This is just the best weather to run in, too.
Want to add?
No, it's okay.
But during that sophomore year, too, I noticed that he wasn't eating well. He was always hungry. So I went out and bought a whole bunch of bars, energy bars. He opens up the box, he goes, "What are these?" And I said, "Try one." I said, "Eat it, it's probably really good." And he did. He had 5 out of the 10 eaten before he left. That's when I knew, my wife knew, it was time to step in and get this kid some help.
The running community in Concord is very close. So pulling him into that gave him a structure that he hadn't had before.
There were physical issues from his experiences before he came to the United States, and lingering ones, that needed some medical care.
He didn't have front teeth. We had to get his teeth fixed. From what I learned, he had them smashed out by the butt end of a gun.
It wasn't until we were seniors that he opened up to some people. He didn't talk a lot about where he came from, and I'd been running with him for 3 years at this point is when we started, we'd go on 20-mile runs together, and that's when we started to talk about this kind of stuff. And eventually it kind of dawned on me, like, man, he's got some really deep down stuff that he wants to let out, but he hasn't. He's endured more than most people will ever see in their lifetime. He's been to more places than most of us will be in our lifetime. He's seen things that we don't even want to see, replayed on the 9 o'clock news.
In a remote corner of the world, there is a war going on.
Where starvation is being used as a weapon of war deliberately.
It's been a vicious war, and its principal victims have been not the government troops or the rebels, but those caught in between.
2 million people may fall. They will die slowly. But for those who know nothing about this war and who starve in its crossfire, the cost may be unbearably high.
My county is called Parian County. And Parian County is exactly on the border of South Sudan and North Sudan. And oil was discovered from there. The government would come literally to push people away and they drill the oil.
The discovery of oil is greeted by a country as a source of great prosperity, but in the Sudan, it has brought misery.
In recent months, thousands more people have fled the area. The result, critics say, of a deliberate policy by Sudan's government to depopulate it.
We were just a source of resources. And this is a sense that us South Sudanese had. Our land was important. The people on it, not so much. We were second class.
I was working for Sudanese forces. A soldier persuaded me to go with him to move to his house. He said, "I am going to increase your salaries. I'm going to put you in school." I wanted to honor my dad, but then it went there and turned out to be completely opposite of what the person was telling me. At the end of the year, I asked him, "Hey, I want to go back, and I need money that you promised me." He said, "No. So you have a choice. Either you work for me, or I'll kill you." That's when he started increasing the punishment. He locked me in the house. He tied me down in that small room, so I cannot go anywhere. Will I be able to see my family again? When these kind of punishment are going to end? If I had something closer there, a weapon or a knife or something, I would end my life. My thought was, I'd rather die running than dying in this room. I believe it was kind of afternoon or so. He was at work. His wife went to the neighbor. So I just broke down the wall And I get out, boom, I ran. I learned that my older brother, who 3 of us left from my mom, was killed in 2002. It made me powerless. I didn't know what to do. I think it was 2 days before the New England Championship in cross country. I walked into my coach's office in high school and I told him, I said, it's over. He said, what do you mean? I said, I just lost my brother. And I don't think I will continue running.
I said, no, you're not. You're not going to quit. And I said, no, you're not going to, I'm not going to let you do that. I said, you don't see 4 years down the road for me. I do. I said, this is your ticket to college. You get a college degree, you go out there, you make something out of yourself.
And he said, your uncle is not going to pay for your college. I'm not going to pay for your college. You're not going to handle paying for your college. So choose. I walk out there. What he told me went to my right ear and got out in my left ear. Didn't go in my mind. I thought he was crazy. I thought he was not feeling the pain I was feeling. My brother has died, so I cannot bring his life back. At the same time, I didn't want to give up. So I have to do something. So I went to the championship. I was running with pain and tears in my eyes, but I finished.
In 5th place at 15:46.40 from Concord, New Hampshire, a junior Guor.
I was top 6 in New England Championship, and I came back and I continue.
I had an assistant at Iowa State that was doing some recruiting for me. And he came to the office and said, you know, I talked to this young man in New Hampshire named Guor, and I think he could potentially be really good. Eventually, we were like, let's bring him on a visit and get him on campus. And I think that's where I really got to the point where once I met him, I saw that smile and getting to hear what he had to say about what he wanted to accomplish in the future. You just knew this was an opportunity that it's going to change his life. That first year, we could see that, okay, we've got something here. You know, it's just going to take a little bit of time. I think the second, third year, he started to score in the conference meet. He started to do some great things for us in cross country. Started to see, you know, that he was one of our main guys that we were going to rely on.
Okay, I'm running, but something in my mind said, Olympic 2012.
Junior year, I road tripped with a couple friends to the Division I national race in Terre Haute, Indiana, and we got to watch Guor run to All-American status, so that was pretty special.
In college, my mind always, all the time, 24/7, thinking back home. The guys, my teammate, I could laugh with them, my coach could laugh with them, but inside me, my heart is always on fire, see, because of the situation. And that is how difficult it is when you have some people are far away and they are in the war zone and you don't have anything to do with them, and that's the thing, yeah.
This place was a thriving marketplace, full of traders and people coming around doing their business. And now it has been reduced to almost to nothing. There used to be hundreds of cattle here being sold during the day, every day. Traders were coming to bring things and to take the cattle away as part of their trade. Everybody's being pushed away in order that the oil reserves beneath this land may be exploited.
The two sides were like two cocks who were fighting, and they were just tired. And they were like that. They'd had enough. And the only way out of it was a peace deal. No one was winning.
There's a peace deal to end the civil war in Sudan, which has killed more than 2 million people since 1983. Secretary of State Powell was at the ceremony in Kenya, where Sudan's vice president and the country's main rebel leader also signed on.
This coming January, the people of Sudan, Africa's largest country, will vote on whether the nation should split in two.
So I want to show you something here. This is the main intersection, and that is a clock, and it's counting down to the minute that the voting starts.
It was building up, and it was excitement, it was hope, it was chance, it was aspiration. It was the fact that our own nation offered us the chance to hope.
The vote will decide whether to draw a border between the north, where mostly Arab and Muslim people live, and the south, populated mostly by blacks who are Christian.
I drove all the way to Nebraska. We stand in the snow for 7 hours to wait for a vote.
There was a huge turnout at one of the voting stations set up at 45th and Fort.
All the South Sudanese, they came from all the way from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Colorado, all the way they drive to, that was its closest center. I just hope we have our own freedom.
Officials say preliminary results from Southern Sudanese referendum show that more than 99% of the voters in the South cast their ballots to secede from the North.
I never been proud like that. More proud than any other human being. But God great. We got our independence now. We got our own country.
This is the birth of a new nation. And although beset by terrible problems, many people are optimistic that a fresh start for South Sudan is...
But now it's my turn. It's my turn to honor them. I got this chance. God brought me all the way here. It's my turn to do a great thing for the country. I cannot walk away from it. That's what makes me every single day put the shoes on and run.
Eight o'clock means the start for the main event. 26.2 miles for all the glory. Some looking to win, some looking to finish, some even searching to find more than that.
For Guor, he was running his first marathon. He had a big goal. His goal was to qualify for the Olympics. You know, you don't often hear of someone jumping from the 10K up to the marathon. It's not particularly advisable.
We're warming up and stretching. I said pray a little bit. I had my brother and my sister. They all passed away. And I said, this is for you guys, you see. And I told them, if you can let me finish this race, that's it. First month I went out like crazy, and then they settled. Just, I started pushing the pace, pushing the pace. And halfway, the pace was still slow until mile 20, and I was 9th place at that moment. And then last 800 meters, I caught 3 guys. I don't know where that energy came from, but I was just pretty much sprinting like crazy across the finish line. I thought that my watch was wrong. It was 2:14, and it's kind of, that might not be right. And the race organizer, Matt, he came and hugged me, and he lifted me up. He was very, very excited. He said, Guor, you just qualified. You just made the qualifying time, A standard. I kind of like, oh, man.
And it's remarkable that someone who had never run a marathon, you know, would have that confidence and self-belief that they could just turn up at the start line and qualify for the Olympics. And that's exactly what he did. You know, so Guor started reaching out to people in South Sudan to say, hey, you know, I qualified for the Olympics. I'm South Sudanese, I'd like to run.
There was this guy who suddenly was turning in good times in marathons and didn't actually have a country that he was running for. Now, there's kind of a problem there because South Sudan had only just started to exist, so there was no National Olympic Committee, so therefore he couldn't run for South Sudan. So we were left with this problem.
I was trying, there was no solution and stuff. That's when Brad came in and said, you know, would you mind if I help you?
You know, I let him know, you know, I'm happy to try and help you with this, but, you know, I think it's gonna cause a bit of a stir. Like, you're not gonna get in there quietly if you're gonna get in there.
He said, I know a guy here, he might help us.
I had the whole story, and I said, well, you know, where does this stand with the International Olympic Committee? And I found out that there had been work done, but it had all been based on the premise that Guor would compete for the Sudan.
Guor Marial qualified for the event, no problem there. The 28-year-old marathoner is from South Sudan, a country that only gained independence a year ago. It doesn't have a National Olympic Committee yet. So the International Olympic Committee told Marial that he could compete at the London Games if he ran for Sudan, which he doesn't want to do. Guor, tell us first of all why you don't want to run for Sudan.
I came to the United States as a refugee. And for me to go back and represent the Sudan, which is the country I refuged from, just seemed to me not right.
It was a tough decision. It could have meant the end of his Olympic dream. And for someone who had trained and devoted so much to this, you know, it's a really difficult decision to make. But the choice that he took did nothing but really warm people's hearts to Guor, amongst South Sudanese.
And the Olympic Charter says that the right to participate in sport is a basic human right. And I've always been annoyed, frustrated, and angry at the disconnect between the ideals that are expressed in the Olympic Charter and the International Olympic Committee's unwillingness to stand by them, enforce them, or follow them. And so I said to myself, here is a perfect, easy opportunity for them to show the world that what is in that Olympic Charter actually means something. And so I wrote the story, which advocated for the morally and ethically proper and easily fulfilled stance for the IOC, which let this guy in, let him compete as an independent Olympic athlete. And from that point on, things began to accelerate.
Yeah, the media coverage was intense. I mean, it was global.
28-year-old Guor Marial has been called the man without a country.
Esse é Guor Marial, 28.
28-летний Guor Marial, выходец из Южного.
남수단의 마라토너 구오르 마리알은
Guor Marial, marathonien de 28.
Guor Marial says it's the pride of South Sudan that pushes him to go further.
So you basically outran your captors. Did you think that running would be your future?
When I left Sudan, I said I will never run again because I thought running is only for me to save my life.
I remember at one point being advised that, you know, Guor wasn't, you know, essentially that Guor had two options. He doesn't go to the Olympics or he goes representing Sudan. And I remember telling that person that, no, you know, there's a third option and that's the one that we're going to take.
You know, a top athlete who's turning in those sorts of times needs to run at the Olympics. So we then put together the plans that we needed at the executive board in London ahead of the Games, and they voted to allow Guor to run. He could appear under the Olympic flag rather than from a nation.
The guy called me, he said, "You're in." I woke up and I was jumping around. I was kind of like, wow, this is unbelievable.
The phone rang, and it was Guor. And he said, Mrs. Coach, love that, Mrs. Coach, I'm going. And I was like, oh, Guor, I am just so proud of you. And his comment back to me, which just goes right down to my toes every time I hear it, he said, a tree can bear no fruit without its roots. He says, and you have been my root.
I called Guor and I said, you know, you realize, Guor, that you're going to have to compete in essentially a white uniform. And he said to me something that I'll never forget. He said, doesn't make any difference. I'll have South Sudan in my heart.
I land in Heathrow Airport in London, and when we landed, they opened the door. It was camera everywhere. My eyes was kind of like, okay, I am in a different territory.
The Olympic Village was exciting. You know, I mean, officially we're the smallest team in Olympic history. Okay, so we'll go to breakfast now?
Yeah, man, I'm hungry.
You know, one athlete and one representative. You know, and you contrast that with, you know, the US team or the Russian team with hundreds of athletes and representatives, and here we were, just these two guys. And it was, for us, it was exciting that way, you know? I mean, it made us different, and, you know, and it reminded us of just what we had overcome to get there.
My name is Tomomi Hirose from Japan. Nice to meet you. What message would you like to send to your family, friends, the South Sudanese people?
Well, I just want to tell them that, you know, I love them so much and I'm here for them. We'll bring a good awareness to the country, and hope the young generation in South Sudan will see me and be able to dream high for next year to come.
So how are you feeling?
Oh, not too bad. Not too bad.
Feeling excited?
Very excited. Calm. Nervous.
Yeah?
Oh.
Everything was stacked against him in terms of having a good race in London. It wasn't set up for him to go and run a PR. I mean, you know, the stress that he had been through, both in terms of the fight to get him to the Olympics, and also the mental and emotional stress of recounting his story had taken a big toll on him.
My body was low. I had low energy. There's not much, but excitement was just there. It's kind of like I was telling myself, this is Olympic. You know, no matter how tired I am, like, yeah, this is the day. These are the best of the best, and I'm competing with them.
Ryan Hall, the United States.
This day, nobody go to the work. Everybody stay in the TV. And a lot of people come in my house, a lot of people dancing, everybody happy.
I couldn't miss it. I had to be there. I had to see him. I had to cheer. You know, I had to express my joy and elation at the fact that he was there.
I went to the local market. I bought the material. The whole night I was sewing the flag with my hand.
Let's go, Guor! Looking good, Guor! Well done, Guor!
We all gathered on the corner of the Palace of Westminster, and we made that little space South Sudan for the day.
Within the first 10K into the race, completely my legs was, my body shut it down completely. My leg couldn't move, so I was kind of like, is it gonna be the way I'm going to drop in the race? And there were some group of South Sudanese along the way. I saw them. Almost like 30 or something South Sudanese were on the side. So I made my way out to try to show myself to them, and I jumped out and I waved them. They completely almost jump into the road, into the course, and try to grab me, and they were just dancing. They were just dancing.
And we just went wild. We were just screaming. And then when he came, he was blowing kisses, and we just getting mad more about him.
And that moment that pushed me and said, no matter how hot or how tired I am, I'd rather walk and finish the race. I don't care. I have to because of these people. The refugees who I represented, all were the one I did that for them. I didn't care about the position, I didn't care about the time.
How did you experience these first Olympic experiences?
Whatever I didn't do today, the young kids out there in the country, they are going to do it one day for sure. There's no question about it.
See you in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil?
I hope so.
When the race ended, we weren't ready to let it finish there. We were really fired up, and we walked down towards Trafalgar Square, letting everyone know in no uncertain terms that we were South Sudanese and that South Sudan was a part of the Olympics, and our Olympian had just run a really good race.
You know, we want to see him just to say thank you, the feeling that he gave us, the situation that he put us in. And we need him. We need him. Especially those days when South Sudan is falling apart, we need a person like Guor Marial. He keep us like, oh, no, we're still there. Our country is still there. We can make it. Yeah, we just need him.
Guor, I don't know if you've recovered yet from your 26-mile run, but we're just recovering, those of us who had the pleasure of being there to support you, from cheering you on across all those miles. And no doubt, had you had the resources that those two Kenyans had and the Ugandan had, you'd be giving them a run for their money right now.
Since I saw him on the CNN, and then the title was A Runner Without a Country, it's just upset me. Because that country, 2 million died because of that country. I say, no, it's not going to happen. When my husband came home, I just told him, I say, okay, we are going to go on Sunday, we are going to be there. Yeah. I just went to the market, I bought the material, I sewed the flag with my hands, one for me, one for my husband and my kids. And when we went there, and when you were running, and then my kids just told me, I don't know, Mommy, when I saw Guor were running, there was some feeling. They don't know what that feeling was. And then I told them, I said, Dad, you are proud. That feeling is that you are proud.
May God bless you. May God bless your families. May God bless our country, South Sudan. And may God give you strength to inspire so many, many, many people in the future. So this one to Luol and Guor. Cheers. Yeah!
What do you think it's going to mean to his mom and dad to see him?
Oh my God. They see their son is small and now he's grown up.
Do you remember saying goodbye to mom and dad?
Yes.
And say my dad wasn't happy. But at the same time, he said, okay, you know, I think that's the best way.
Guor. No. Alas, Tibet. Tibet. I never felt like this before, you know. It's just amazing. This is home, you know. There's nothing like it. I'm home now, you know. I'm thankful I have country now, and this is the flag I'm holding, basically. Hopefully I hold it in London. I mean in Rio in 2016.
Being able to go and see the family for the first time, it was kind of scary. Will I be able to recognize my family? I was just kind of dreaming. Is it real?
Ayan. Majar. Ayan kina. My mom. What?
Dính qua.
Yeah.
Dính qua. Dính qua.
Ayan.
Qua.
Ayan. Ayan ki. Can mind the chop. In the chop. In the chop. In the chop.
Qua.
In the chop. Achema apa? En ke kuwe kan lana chai nu cha de yu ki ranu ni lana en ngodi. Thi ka.
Nhà này chú giúp. Lúc cái dạng thế thì chỉ đi. Mà cái dạng thế thì chỉ đi. Cô. Hãy đi. Mình không.
Ayan wa.
Mình không đi.
Ayan wa.
Mình không đi.
Ayan wa. Ăn kì.
Adino.
Depend qua.
Silvang the Woody.
And ka, chatting. Beyond Jala work.
My dad trusted me a lot. His young age, he knew I would be something, you know? And he said, you know, one day you're gonna be the leader of the house. The young boy. So, but he had no choice but to let me go.
Did you job Ben? Can you job real come? Mangkong.
Okay.
Layum. Mandy. Taso? Mi job cái gì là bao giờ? À biết cái ngày nữa nghe. Nanti in gang à? Mi cha rồi phi.
I was sad for that long period of time. I thought that they did not like me, the reason they sent me away at that young age. But now I am a grown man, I understood that this is the opportunity is going to allow me to do something so that a child in the South Sudan or my child or the relatives don't go through what I have gone through, the experience, because I know it's the most painful thing to live without your family.
Oh, okay.
I look back and I said, thank God you allowed me to get through, to jump all these hurdles. You saved me and I'm here, but I must keep moving. I must keep moving forward to do something.
The pictures when he did see his mother. Yeah, very hard. And just thinking about them now. To me, one of the most heart-wrenching experiences. And as a mother, my perspective on that was, oh my God, he's got to leave her again. And yet he knew he had to, because formulating his need and his desire to help the youth of Sudan, that was going to be his mission.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
He had more focus than he had ever had on doing the work to help South Sudan form an Olympic committee and an athletics program, and to really commit himself to train a next generation of South Sudanese athletes.
There was one kid named Lubor. Lubor, I connect with him on Facebook, and he took me to the where they do practice of the South Sudanese national team. These are the kids who wanted to be the national hero by representing the country. Unfortunately, no one acknowledging them. They're just training there and they go home. Even when they go home, nothing to pretty much to survive on. These kids, I asked them, why do you guys come to practice?
When you win, you do not win for yourself, but you win for the whole nation.
Yeah, I may be proud when I have that, so I wish to be compete a lot in order to raise the name of South Sudan as the new country in the world.
I went here with 2 bags, with all my training clothes. So I went there and gave all of them to them. My brother and my relative, they were complaining, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I said, I don't care. This is my family. I have to support them. I will do everything I can for you guys.
So, and that opportunity, I don't want just me to have it. All of you, I want you guys to have the same opportunity.
This is where we're going to start our mission in South Sudan.
I know you all have a lot of questions. So first of all, I'll ask Guor just to say a few words, and then we'll open up the floor to all of you. So Guor, thank you.
I believe that sport can be a bridge to unite the 10 states of South Sudan. I am looking forward to meet with the sport authorities in the country to see how we can work together to have a South Sudanese team at the 2016 Olympic in Rio, Brazil. My next race is very important. She's going to give me opportunity to go to the Olympic. It's a ticket. It's my ticket. Yes, Olympic is a dream, but if you don't have a ticket, you cannot go.
Anytime you get to the top of the mountain, it's really hard to recreate that and get back there. And I think it's complicated with Guor too, because I think everything Guor's done, he's worked hard and got his reward. So if I can work even harder in running, I'll get even better. And that's not always the case in distance running. Sometimes less is more.
I tried my best, but it was just within 10K, I was completely out of it. I got injured. I'm going to Kenya to continue on my training for the Olympic in 2016. I hope to bring South Sudanese runners with me to Kenya. And so when 2016 comes around, they will be ready to represent the country.
The training sessions are gathering momentum day by day. What captures my attention, though, is this group of athletes who may easily be mistaken for Kenyans, but no, they hail from Africa's youngest nation, South Sudan.
Running with the group is the most important thing as a distant runner, to have people who are faster than you, where they can motivate you. I will be in with the best of the best in the world. This program, if I follow specifically and correctly and do everything else that I'm supposed to do, then most likely I would be like, I will reach my potential.
We start reading stories about him trying to qualify for Rio, and we heard about the fact that he was struggling a little bit financially to cover the cost linked to the Olympic qualification. As you know, you need to participate in different races. You need to travel the world, which is very, very expensive. And we have a program of a scholarship, which is to support athletes trying to qualify. He really said that he would do anything to qualify for Rio. And this is where we thought that probably we could start helping him. So we had to establish a procedure with him, but we didn't want to sponsor him directly without having nobody in South Sudan being aware. So we obviously talked to the federation and make sure that the National Federation was supporting this.
My understanding from what I've seen and heard and read is that Guor was granted a scholarship by the International Olympic Committee. And, you know, it was his understanding that that money was supposed to be entirely for his training. And the National Federation in South Sudan had a different interpretation of that.
Okay. This is a message. Can you see it clearly?
I cannot.
It's hard to see.
Can you read it to us?
This is what I said. It is not the first time IOC give out a scholarship to the athletes and never any federation interfere. Also, I will not direct this funding to the South Sudan Federation. This is his response. Your message is not acceptable. We are the concerned authority. If you can get any scholarship without my acceptance, let me know. It seems you are challenging me. Come out.
Yesterday, there was a phone conversation between me and Mr. Guor. And after the conversation, I called for emergency meeting for our technical committees, and we have discussed about what is going on. The technical committee decided in the meeting, and it was official meeting, by the way, the quorum was complete. They have decided to suspend his activities internally and externally till further notice.
I think that's what they're seeing me as a threat. You see, I have been easy on them, but at this time, no easy. And I'm going through it. I am willing to die, Bill. This is what I'm not backing down. I come too far. I'm not backing down, and I'm pushing it until the last minute. If they kill me, that's fine.
The Athletics Federation they want the funding to come to them, and then they can give it to Guor Marial. But I thank God that didn't happen, because Guor Marial would never get anything. The corruption was very high. People are just thinking about how to get more money. But Guor Marial was thinking about how to make South Sudanese proud, and he gave us that feeling.
It's true that at some point we were a little bit worried about how it would go, because our aim was to help, and it became a conflictive situation. We're distracting him from his training.
I struggle a lot when I went to Kenya. Was a change of climate or diet or something? Is it something I had a hard time to understand what was a problem? I was weak. My muscle was just all shaking, and I sometimes sweat and all of that. But when I went to the doctor, they checked my blood level, they checked all these, pretty much everything in my body. They found everything was okay except my hemoglobin was very, very low.
Did you have malaria?
They said I had malaria, but I think it was a typhoid. Yeah. So I was very, very weak. Every time I tried to train, I just hang on for daily and try to push myself and all of that. It was just not working.
And now we move on to another very important point of our agenda, and this is the point number 12, the recognition of a National Olympic Committee. And here I ask Mr. Pere Miro to present to us the case of South Sudan. Mr. Miro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, you know that South Sudan is called actually the newest country of the world. In fact, South Sudan as country got the independence only in 2011. But let's say the situation of the country since the independence has not been easy. Has not been easy because since 2013, at least, they have a very important political crisis, very close to, let's say, an internal war. But during all this time, you can be sure that we have not forgotten the athletes.
Before we encourage people to approve them, we have to apologize to them that we cannot work with them in the last 3 years when they have the difficult time, but never too late. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Thank you, Primero. I encourage my colleague here to approve South Sudan as the 206 member in the National Olympic Committees. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there questions? No. Then on behalf of all the IOC member and the Olympic movement, I would like to officially welcome the newest member of our Olympic family, the National Olympic Committee of South Sudan. Congratulations on becoming our 206th member.
Yeah, I've been working hard.
I would also like to thank the Sudanese National Olympic Committee, who has been a real partner and friend of their South Sudanese neighbors. And I would like to invite the president of the
Right now, I am preparing for Ottawa Marathon. It's my last chance. The more I struggle, the more it pushed me actually to be more determined than I have been before.
We're also following some of the athletes who are participating in this event as a last shot at Rio Olympics. And one of those is Guor, maker of South Sudan, who is trying to achieve 2:19 in order to qualify for the Rio Olympics.
He got something special in him, and we pray every day for God to let him qualify.
You know, he's had the weight of his country on his shoulders for how long? And now all of a sudden, can he get that weight off his shoulders?
Hey, have the other runners gone this way? No, he's the first? Yes. We're supposed to be going that way. All right. I don't know, but we gotta let him know. Wrong way! Wrong way! Okay. Sorry. What? Wrong way.
Came over the bridge, we're supposed to go that way.
No, we lost the time. What is it? Doctor, do you want to give him a ride there? He's looking crazy.
It sounds to me like there was some confusion at the point where we have the half marathon and the marathon courses split apart. It's a terrible, terrible, unfortunate incident.
Today we have a report from South Sudan. 2 years after independence in 2011, a civil war started.
But fighting began in the capital, Juba, in December 2013, when President Salva Kiir accused his sacked deputy, Riek Machar, of planning a coup. It has served to split South Sudan along ethnic lines, broadly speaking, the Dinka communities supporting Kiir and the Nuer backing Machar.
But who are the perpetrators?
You know, our leaders are using the name of their tribes in order for them to cling to power.
Some of these Southern Sudanese brothers, especially those who stayed behind, have known nothing but war. They've been deeply traumatized by war. Communities have suffered at the hands of other South Sudanese communities. I mean, South Sudan fought South Sudan as much as it fought North Sudan during the War of Independence and Liberation. And people weren't quite ready to let go of the hurt that we had caused each other.
I am here today to send this simple message to all of you. We once again fighting against one another. We have multiple tribes, and we're different in strength. All this strength, our power. So instead of eliminating one another, we should be using one another to build the country in a peaceful way. I want the next generation to be happy, to care one another, to grow as one South Sudanese.
Away in the 2016 Gold Coast Airport Marathon, and they are underway, thousands and thousands of runners.
And today is pretty much the last day. Entries or qualifying period ends tomorrow on Monday. So a lot of these runners have really come here, packed their bags and hoping to be able to qualify for their respective Olympic teams.
If there's one thing that unifies a fractious country like South Sudan, it's sporting heroes. It'll happen with Guor. He will be a unifying figure for South Sudan, and his success will be our success. We are all the victims of circumstance. Some choose to dwell too much on that. Let it become who they are, and they give up. War represents something that is in direct opposite to that. He has suffered. He has taken all of that hurt, and he's redirected it to positive energies. He said, what can I do? It cannot get worse. So how good can it get?
Do it.
I say, thank you, God. I have this opportunity, but your mission is not yet accomplished. I question a lot. I did question myself a lot because I have gone through a lot. Financially issues, because I'm holding myself as a professional runner. At the same time, I'm not getting anything from it. And also, I am not getting a full-time job or work in the real world to even make a living. I'm just kind of in between. I went to grade school. I got good degrees. If I could have gotten a job, my family would be living in a happy life right now. But they're still poor as we are speaking. They're still struggling. My dad was still all of this one. My dad was sick, my mom is sick, I lost my uncle, I don't have a job. My mind was almost to explode. You know what? Enough is enough. I wanted to help my family.
He is an exemplar athlete. He's a representative of a series of values. And because he has done an extraordinary effort, we thought that it was very important to deliver one invitation to Guor to take part in the Games.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great moment has arrived. They have traveled from all the corners of the earth and have spent a lifetime training for this moment. Please welcome the athletes of the Games of the 31st Olympiads.
I struggled so much. To be able to come this far, just amazing. So, I just wait for Sunday, see what I can do. But at this point, I thank God. I'm here, we made it. It was a long journey.
You'll never erase the past.
You know, you lost, we understand, 28 members of your family in the Civil War.
Yes.
Did competing in the Olympics help you move on from that, or maybe you never move on? I don't know. It's a reminder, too, to the millions of new refugees that not to give up hope.
Correct. And I hope this would be an example for there is always a next day.
Oh man, we did it! We did it! South Sudan. That's it.